Make a pot for your succulent using the pinch pot technique. Cactus Pots Project 1, Step 7. Finishing. How to make sure all the bits stay on. In this video, we will be finishing the pot made in Step 3, how to make a pinch pot. Step 4, joining, how to add feet. In Step 5, joining, being creative. All your pots should be at the leather hard stage. You will need some water and your little sponge and the skewer. Firstly, take your water, put the little sponge in the water and squeeze. Squeeze the sponge right out. Shake your hand so that there are no drips. Make sure that the other hand, the hand you'll be holding your pot with, is dry. Sometimes it's a good idea to have a towel handy in case any water gets on your hand. Get your pinch pot and bend the sponge around the rim to sponge it even. Then if you see any parts that you would like to sponge on the outside or the inside, you can do that as well. You will see that this smooths out the surface of your pot. But you will also notice that the sponge is taking some of the clay off your pot. This is very fine clay that is being removed, and if you sponge too much, what can happen is it can reveal the little bit of sand and grit that is in the clay. That's there to make your pot stronger. So when you are sponging, just a little bit of sponging, not too much. That is enough. Now when I put my pot down, I notice that it's rocking. I would like to have a flat base on this pot so it stands up straight, although rocking pots can also be quite fun. If you would like to have a base, hold your pot like this on a flat surface and push down lightly with your thumbs and push the pot downwards. Then grab it by the rim and spin, shiggle a little bit backwards and forwards. You can also do this just on the surface of the table now. It shouldn't stick. Holding it down and shiggle back and forwards. There you go. Now I have a flat base and my pot should stand without rocking. With this pot, I can finish the rim in the same way, just using a very slightly damp sponge to go over any bits that I would like to smooth out. Be careful that you don't have a lot of drips, a lot of water going onto this, and be careful that your hand isn't wet. This can make the pot very slippery and messy if you put too much water on it. Also, we will be paying attention to the join between any bits, any legs that you have added on. Take your skewer. If there's any bits of clay on it, just flick them off into the water. And use that to move the clay from the leg to the body of the pot. What you're doing here is strengthening that join. If you have been really good about scoring and then using slip as glue to stick the two bits together, then this leg should not fall off. But you're doing this step helps to actually keep it on just in case. So this step isn't absolutely necessary if you've already got a good join. However, sometimes if you miss out this step, what can happen is you can get a very fine crack that runs where the join is. That's usually caused by the wet slip drying out a little bit more and shrinking than the rest of the clay on the pot. However, just as long as your join is strong, the piece should not fall off. Now that I've knitted the clay together, I can use my sponge to neaten that join up. There you go. Now I've made the join almost completely disappear. Now if you can see the difference between this one and this one, this is the one that I've done and this one hasn't been done yet. With this pot, I will of course finish the other legs later. I would like to have a drain hole. To make the drain hole, use the skewer. Find a spot for your drain hole and then spin the skewer as you push down. Don't just push through because that can break the clay. Spin. And keep pushing and then spin around some more. Now pull it out. Now I've got a drain hole. There's a few of these little bits like that. You can remove them with the skewer by going away from the drain hole. And then use your sponge to wipe it. On the inside you will have a few burrs as well. This is where the soil will be, so it doesn't really matter. But if you would like to be particularly neat, you can use the end of the skewer here to remove them. Poke through again, spin around, like so. You can use the tip of your finger to smooth it out, and then the sponge. There you go. Now it's nice and neat and I have a drain hole. With this pot, you will do exactly the same as with the feet to attach any bits by moving the clay from the part that was attached onto the pot. Once that is done, smooth it with the sponge. Again, be careful not to use a lot of water. If you would like to dip your sponge in the water again, squeeze it out really well. Shake your hand. Make sure there are no drips. And then continue. On this piece, I would like to add some lines. I'm just going to clean off my skewer. My hand is a bit wet, so I'm just going to dry it out. And I'm going to add some lines here using the skewer. Just press in to give him some tread on his shoes. You can also scratch lines if you like. You can see the two different effects. If you have lots of little bits of clay on your board or on your table, pick them up with the sponge and pop them in your water. This way they won't accidentally get stuck to your pots while you're working. Now, one of the most important things at this stage is to make sure that you put your ID number onto your pots. Each pack comes with its own ID number. It's a 3-digit number and you should have been given a pottery chart like this with the number written on it. If you haven't got your number, please call us or email us to ask us what the number should be. My number is 707. This number is used so that we know whose pots are whose. This is because some people have the same initials and the same names, and we don't want to mix them up. And also that way we will know everybody's pots that go together. Put your number somewhere, maybe on the bottom of your pot, just by scratching it in. 707. Wipe off the burrs with your finger. Make sure that it is big enough and scratch deeply enough so it won't disappear and we can read it. Please don't forget to do this. This is really, really important. And of course, put your name or your artist's name on the bottom or your initials. Or if this is a gift for somebody, you can put their name or a special message for them. Thank you very much. In the next video, we're going to be painting the pots with slips. See you then.